Hey everyone, and welcome back to Hoffman Engineering. If the date March 20th, 2020 means anything to you, then you're either a fan of the cute community building video game Animal Crossing, or of the brutal first-person shooter Doom. Usually you don't think that those two communities would overlap, but with the two newest games for those series set to release on the same day, March 20th, the two communities have actually combined with a flurry of really awesome fan art, combining the Doomslayer with Isabelle. Probably one of the favorite things that I've seen recently. All of the artwork that the communities put out there is just absolutely incredible. It's wholesome, it's great, keep it up. So as soon as I came across this 3D model of the Isabelle Doomguy by Pansido, I knew I had to print one for myself. It was perfect. So in order to prepare it for printing, I opened it up in Cura. The only tricky thing about this model is that it's going to need a whole lot of supports. There are a lot of overhangs. To minimize that support material, I flipped the model over and laid it on its back. That way I can minimize the amount of support material needed and therefore minimize the print time and the amount of material wasted with those supports. I decided to print it with 0.5mm layer heights with 2 perimeters and 8% infill. Doesn't need to be too strong. I think that'll be plenty enough and still get a good balance between print time and resolution. So after everything looks right, I loaded it up on the SD card and moved it over to my TiVo Tornado. So this print's supposed to take 17 hours and 7 minutes, so let's get it loaded and check in on it periodically. Overall, the print went pretty well. Because most of it's built on support material, I did have to cheat a little bit and used a little bit of hot glue in order to hold down some of the supports, since some of those initial pillars were pretty small. It shouldn't interfere with the print at all. It should just give those supports something to really hold on to the build plate for. And now that it's done, we can remove it and get to the favorite part, removing all of the supports. And one thing I didn't notice while I was preparing this for prints was that her hair actually isn't attached. The model itself, there's actually no attachment points between the top of her head and her hair here. It was only held together by that little bit of support material. So after I remove all of the supports, I'm gonna just have to glue that back into place there. But that's not a problem at all. Otherwise, I think this printed pretty well. It just has a whole lot of supports to remove. So let's get to it. And as you heard Isabelle in the beginning, the easiest way to remove support material is to rip and tear until it is done. So it's time to grab some pliers and get to it. So after about 20 minutes, all of the support has been removed. It took a little bit of time to pull it off with a pair of pliers, and then I took an X-Acto knife to pry up anything else that was remaining. There was a little bit of her hair that was removed, that got pulled off with some of the support material, but I can glue that little bit back on. But everything else turned out pretty well. Now if we look closely, you can see that there is some discoloring from where the supports touched the main print itself. But that's easily taken care of with a hot air gun. So let me go grab that. Oh, nope, it's fine. Don't get up. No, it's good. Let me just, if you can just step aside. Oh, right, there we go. Beautiful. Now the hot air gun is one of my favorite tools when it comes to cleaning up 3D prints, because it does an excellent job of melting any strings that you may have, and it can also remove any discoloring caused by the stress from removing support material. So mine is just a hot air rework station as part of a soldering station, but a normal hot air gun would also work. Now we just heat it up just enough to soften the material, but we don't actually want to melt the plastic. So we can even use the hot air to perform minor surgeries. The little bit of her missing hair, we can simply just heat up with the hot air gun, and we should be able to just press it right back into place. Would you look at that? Perfect. Now I am heating it up a little bit more than I would normally like to, just so that it has some adhesion and can actually melt and fuse together. But there we go. Fix the hair. Now the last question is, how do I want to reattach the hair piece? I could use some super glue, that'd be nice and easy, or I could use the same technique that I used to glue the bottom of her hair and just heat it up with the hot air gun and try to melt it and press it back into place. I haven't actually tried that second method for anything, larger than this little bits of hair back here. So let's give that a try. Actually sticking pretty well. That feels pretty solid actually. It's still a little molten, so I can move the plastic around, but it feels like the plastic has actually adhered to itself, which I think is exactly what I want. Yeah, I will call that a success. And there we go. We have a Doom collectible with Isabelle. The perfect combination of these two communities. I'm absolutely loving all of the pictures that I'm seeing from this. It's so exciting. And I cannot wait until March 20th for both the new Animal Crossing and the new Doom. So thank you guys for joining with this quick print. If you've seen any of your favorite Isabelle Doomguy mashups, please leave links to them down below, because I would like to see what you guys have found out. And until then, I now have Isabelle watching over my shoulder as I brush up on my Doom skills in preparation for Doom Eternal. So thank you guys for watching, I'll see you all next time.